Okay. We back. All right, y'all. So when I started working on this is how I found out who I was. Like this was in my lineage. So one of the people that's like closest to me, I'm gonna tell. So you know what I'm saying, is Rebecca. She'll get irritated with me sometimes, frustrated. And then she was like, "You think you all this in a bag of chips?" Basically, I'm saying a bag of chips. She didn't say it like that. She basically felt like I was saying that like I could do no wrong, or I was doing this role of like holier than thou. I'm like, I'm really not doing no role. It's like a part of my ancestry. It's just who I am. Like I'm not trying to fake. Like, I'm not trying to put on a show for somebody. Like this is really like a part of my family. And she didn't understand it. Like I don't know if she understands it now, but she didn't understand the fact that that's like you test my blood when it comes out, it's gonna go back to that general area of people, indigenous people. Sit down. So there was a lot of like kind of back and forth with us. So I finally, you know what I'm saying, got to this point and I was just like, man, you know what? Like, we working hard, we focused, like this don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? So in these areas, the reason it didn't make sense to me was because I'm like, I'm not doing what God told me to do. Like I used to wonder why, like, cause like at this time I had a job when I first heard this. Like I had a job, I was working I was working. Like I'm working like long hours. Like I'm putting in some open to close hours, man. And even though I was doing it, I was still getting this. You need to go to work. I'm thinking like, what you mean I need to go to work? I am working. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just brought in a check for like almost $600, $700. You know what I'm saying? Like, actually giving a degree in different things. Like, my check's supposed to be like probably like a couple thousand. But, anyways, I'm doing that and I'm not understanding. So, that's what I didn't understand. So, I'm like, okay, work. I am working. But no, I wasn't working. You know what I'm saying? So, then I started to look at, like, man, I've been working since I was like probably a little bit younger than, well, a little bit older than Jacaden, like a year or two, like maybe 6, 7, something like that. Because I was always in music, so I was minister of music first and whatever. So you know what I'm saying, mastered drum set early, piano, French horn, sports. You know what I'm saying? You name it, like I was decent. I was good at it. So I began to research myself and talk to God. Not I wasn't worried about like nobody. I was like, nah, what God talking about with this? Like I'm beginning to search God myself. So I'm like, God, like what you want me to do? And then that's when he showed me these things. And he was like, okay, you run for me now. So I'm like, okay, how I'm supposed to represent you, Father? Like, we don't have a flag. Like this is things that I was talking to him. I was like, we ain't got no flag. We ain't got no nation other than like the Christian walk, and then like how is that supposed to work? Because you know what I'm saying. At the same time, you said you didn't come from religion and all these other things. I'm just like, this is what we was. So he, you know what I'm saying, trust me. So it started coming little bit by little bit by little bit. Then I finally got the Byzantine Empire. Like I finally like stumbled upon it. I'm like, oh okay, that's the Byzantine. So I'm like, okay, what this got to do with me? Then I realized like my people. I was like, oh, so I have a rite of passage with this. So this is my rite of passage. I said, okay, cool. So I'm dealing with that, I'm moving forward. I get my rite of passage, and I'm like, all right, all right. So then by this time, like I didn't put in proposals and different things of that nature to like I put in a proposal to a shelter, a couple of different types of shelters, ministries, and different things of that nature. I didn't hit up some other people, like within music and different things of that nature. I didn't hit up a lot of different people. And to my surprise, I'm like, man, it's a multi-billion-dollar, $1 million type of, you know what I'm saying, information. I'm asking you to be a part of, and it's like a definite you can make money back, like more than what you putting in. So I'm thinking about it, and when I look at it, I'm like, why these people, like, why ain't nobody really hitting me back? Or if they hitting me back, this is before I really knew about like blackballing or in the area. Like I didn't even know who my family really was. Once I realized who my family was and like who was all in my family, so you see manuals, like some people would think it'd be the mafia. You know what I'm saying? Other people would think indigenous people as well. So you got like mafia, indigenous people. You got um like we everywhere, and ain't nowhere that we not. I just put it that way. So these things start happening, and I'm like, okay, God, like, how am I supposed to do this to take care of this situation? He shows me, so I begin to work in that area. So I wound up contacting the Queen. I wound up contacting the president, and I contacted the UK. I mean the United Kingdom. All that was to do for like my kids when I was working, as I worked towards, you know what I'm saying, the Byzantine Empire, because I was full-time ministry, and like I really didn't want to deal with a situation where it was like the mom wound up saying like I wasn't trying to work, I wasn't trying to help with the kids or anything of that nature. I wanted to like go in and basically shut all that stuff down early so I wouldn't have to deal with it. Um, so when I did so, you know, the when I did that, I wound up being faced with other situations that had to do with, you know what I'm saying, like that had to do with like my family or like basically my family and my people. Um, so one, like she would have tried to make it look like I wasn't trying to take care of my children, and I would constantly like I met this one lady that was helping me, and it's kind of like my testimony. So I'm just gonna kind of give a brief synopsis of like how this came about. So this one lady was trying to help me, and she went to the lady and lied to the lady and told the lady that I was like trying to force her to like she didn't want to be with me no more type situation. And I was forcing her to I was supposedly forcing her to be with me, and at this time we had a real situation that had to do with like my it had to do with my son at the time. So I wasn't trying to be like, I wasn't being funny and then but like we already had a situation going. And I had to get some things, you know what I'm saying, taken care of, checked for my son, which was a little bit different than my daughter. So talking to the dude, I really didn't like when you get to those areas. I grew up in Texas, I grew up in Houston. So, you know what I'm saying, they do things certain ways and sometimes they try to shoot us. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they were trying to shoot across or what they were trying to do. So like I just left the whole situation alone. So she leaves and she's with the guy or whatever. Like, I'm not tripping on it. And she with the guy, they gone. Um she called me one day and she basically tells me that she calls me one day and she basically tells me that she had a situation with the guy. And I'm like, oh, okay, like what's going on or whatever. And she wanted me to come pick up her and the kids. And what actually happened, it was kind of like I mean, first thing you gonna think is okay, what's up with this? Is this a bad situation? This is a lie, or this real? So you know what I'm saying. I never really questioned it to be honest. I just you know what I'm saying said that I you know what I'm saying I'll pick y'all up or whatever. So these things happen and they go to you know what I'm saying. So she tell me that the dude that she was with had bounty hunters after him. So I'm like, okay, I don't want my kids getting, you know what I'm saying, mixed up in none of that and they coming after this dude. So she tells me this. I'm like, all right. So I pray, I talk to God. I talk to Bishop, and I'm like, man, this was going on with the situation. Like, can we go pick? Can we pick up the kids? So, you know what I'm saying? At this time, like, I didn't know Rebecca. I wasn't with Rebecca or nothing like that. So this is probably like the first time she hearing about this. Um, so at this time, she dealing with she hit me with that, and like we not together. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this was really for like it's really for the kids and different things of that nature. I wasn't talking to nobody at the time. So it wasn't like I was talking to somebody else and then I left them for her. Like at that time I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna seek God and I'm gonna figure out what's going on, you know what I'm saying, with God. And what God want me to do. So I'm not fit to, you know what I'm saying, get in a relationship with nobody. So at that time, like I wasn't even in a relationship with anyone. She hit me up and first thing I was like, yo, like you can come, but I'm not for do all that arguing. You want a divorce or whatever, you know what I'm saying? If that's what you want, fine. I don't really care right now. Um, but we not fit to argue, fuss, or fight over no like nonsense, stupid stuff. We're not gonna do that. So I let that be known from the beginning. So when this came about, and I'm telling them like, yeah, like we not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, in other words, like what I'm saying is, I'm saying we better like basically like I'm not on it. If you want to be with somebody else, be with somebody else. Like I'm just doing my job as a father, and you know what I'm saying. She's Jamaican, so I'm like I gotta look out for you and them anyway. What about them? So I don't care. Like just you know what I'm saying. Get your stuff ready so we can you know what I'm saying. Make sure you good. Make sure you and the kids are good. Y'all safe. That's all that matters. You know what I'm saying. Make sure y'all safe. So these things happen. You know what I'm saying? She tell me this, so of course, first thing you look at when you're dealing with these type of situations is, okay, is it a setup? So I'm paying attention to that. I'm dealing with the Byzantine Empire, so I'm already dealing with the Byzantine Empire before I even knew what the Byzantine Empire really was. So we go get her, and all that. So we were able to like actually go get her. But little did I know, she basically had, like, I guess, something up her sleeve or something or whatever, talking to somebody else, whatever it was. And there was some other issues that was going on. So she kept trying to like fight with me. And I'm like, man, I'm not fighting with you. That don't make sense. It's stupid. And with the situation, I was like, we had the kids, and I'm like, we ain't gotta be together. We just gotta make sure this kid's good, and you know what I'm saying, you good. I don't like you don't owe me nothing. Like you ain't gotta be with me, bro.